tank fly, boss walk, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot.
Hello and welcome back to the Cross Report. There were 2 races in Scotland at the weekend, so riders were spoilt for choice as to which one to race. Some of us were greedy and did both. On Saturday, the ever-enthusiastic Deeside Thistle, led by organiser Gordon Watt, put on a race in Alford. Here we have a club who are promoting 2 cyclocross races within a month of one another, while other well-represented clubs in Scottish cyclocross are yet to manage one in an entire season. As this was the less prestigious of their 2 races, we would have forgiven them for cutting a few corners and just putting on a bare-bones cross race, but no, this race had everything you'd expect. The course was compact, which made spectating a delight. There were burgers, coffee, timing, warm toilets, as well as some seedier public ones. Incidentally, Big Rab from Torfins claims he's looking for some fun. At least I think that's what he says. His writing's atrocious, and he still hasn't called. They called the B race the Sandbaggers race, and all I'll say is that call was answered. As well as the Sandbaggers, however, there was a substantial field of newcomers. I'd just like to pick out this photo of the B race women's podium. Here we have young Ellie Park of the Johnson Jets, who is under 16 in first place. In second is Velocity 44's Laura Murray, just 4 months after having had a baby. And in third is Denise Schofield of Pedal Power, mother of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Not in this shot is Mary McKean, who was riding a rather lovely Focus cross bike in her first ever cross race. I'm too much of a gentleman to tell you her precise age, but she's in the 60 category, so you get the idea. What I'm getting at here, folks, is no matter what sex you are, how many kids you have, how old you are, or how fit you are, so long as you can ride a bike for 40 to 60 minutes, then you're ready to ride cyclocross. Quit the excuses about being tempted and not being ready. We've heard them all before, and none of them are valid. Just enter a race and you'll never look back. So let's talk about what happened in the A race. Looking at the start sheet, Gary McRae seemed the standout favourite, with Sean Clark in attendance to give him a challenge, but Deeside Thistle had some other ideas to mess up the script. The race was fast, very fast, a theme which played out for the entire weekend in fact. Despite being a flat course, there were a good number of little technicalities that kept this an honest, straight-up cyclocross race rather than a crit. The course made for an excellent racing experience as well as a spectating one. I dearly hope we get to see another race at this venue. A lead group of 6 riders formed, which made for an exciting spectacle for the onlookers. Cyclocross in Scotland has truly come a long way in a short period of time. Teen sensation Struan Pride of Deeside Thistle was the talk of the race. Struan is a cracking young man both on and off the bike, so it was great to see him battle it out with battle-hardened Leslie bike rider Gary McRae. Unlike other riders his age, Pride appears to have a head on his shoulders. Rather than shoot his bolt with youthful displays of energy that lack equal measures of stamina, Pride concentrated on sticking with Gary and waited to see what he was capable of toward the end. Doing so cemented his second place against strong opposition. Eventually McRae made a move on the penultimate lap and Struan simply couldn't go with him. I can't wait to see what Struan's capable of in the coming season. This was McRae's first cyclocross win of the season. I'm sure we'll see some more. Tim Shorman of Dale's Cycle Racing completed the podium in third, and he was down as a Deeside Thistle rider, so I presume he's yet another product of this great club. I'd like to see a bit more of him this season. The women's A race was won by Julie Erskine of Icon Mazda. It's the first time we've seen this petite glampeuse in a cross race. Given the course was pan-flat, it would be nice to see what she's capable of on a hillier course. Amanda Tweedy of Deeside Thistle was her only female competition in the A race and rolled into second place. Well done to her for getting in amongst tough competition. Okay, so Sunday saw another debut course. That's 3 this season for those counting at home. The race at Balloch Castle was dubbed the Battle of Balloch Castle. Unfortunately, Glasgow United are unable to put on their traditional series race at Auchentoshan this season, but rather than let this put them off, they quickly found another course to put on a non-series race instead. I'd be lying if I said the level of organisation was at the same standard as Alford, but this race reminded us that all you need to put on a good race sometimes is a cracking course and a bunch of willing riders, and that's what we got. The course was another fast one, and this led to groups forming and plenty of attacking racing happening. It might not have had quite the same spectator value as Alford, but was every bit as good a course to ride, and there were plenty of people commenting on how much fun the A race was to watch. It was of course the first race of the season where the dulcet tones of the legendary Jamie Johnson came into play. He really needs to work on his singing though. Saturday's winner Gary McRae of Leslie Bikes was racing again and had some notable opposition to deal with. On paper, Davy Lines was the favourite, so long as the paper didn't mention the kidney infection and the antibiotics he'd been taking all week. A fast course was set to suit Stevie Jackson of Glasgow United, and we also had Hope Racing's Gary MacDonald making his season debut. The list of hitters went on to include the Four Hogs, sporting a natty beard, perhaps a transfer to SR Albanach is in the offing. Also we had Crofty Carrick Anderson, James Melville, John McCaffrey, Franco Porco and many more. It's fair to say the level of competition was higher than on Saturday. I'll quickly mention Roger Campbell Crawford for missing the start. I'd call you a donut, Roger, but we've all been there. The start was fast and furious, and eventually a lead group of 3 formed, which included Stevie Jackson of Glasgow United, Saturday's winner Gary McRae of Leslie Bikes, and Hope Racing's Gary MacDonald. Following on and trying like a bear was Davy Lines. All suspicions of the kidney infection talk being mere sandbagging were put to rest. The leading trio sparred it out together for the whole race until it came time to sprint, and then there was just Gary MacDonald and Gary McRae still in it. I'll just repeat this for clarity. There was a sprint finish in a Scottish cyclocross race. Gary McRae had to sprint. It's not something I've ever seen him have to do. This lack of practice might be one of the reasons why the sprint for victory was won by MacDonald, who seemed pretty chuffed with himself. And well he should. Good effort. And perhaps there is something in this AB racing malarkey yet, eh? Jane Barr of Velocity 44 rode a strong and intelligent ride to emerge first woman, a good 4 minutes ahead of Ruth Fraser-Moody of Pedal Power in second, with Katie Carmichael of Harvelo taking third spot. It's good to see her moving into the A races after a fine display in the B race at Hawcross. The next race on the calendar is the ever-popular Callendar Park. It's a course favoured by road riders dipping a toe in cyclocross for one race, mostly because it's a great course, but also because it's usually rather dry. It'll be interesting to see what happens if this rain keeps up. Bring on the mud, I say. It just leaves me to thank all of our contributing photographers for allowing me to use their pics, and also Steve McCluskey and young Robbie McKenzie for helping me out with some filming. See you out in the course.